Let me quickly get in my guest on the show. Andy Kaser is joining us, Senior Fellow at the National Security Institute from Washington, D.C. He's joining us. Andy, good evening. Welcome to WION. I want to start by asking you what you think of this 2-week ceasefire agreement and why should the world believe, as the Trump administration would like the world to believe, that America has won this war, because the strikes are still continuing, the Strait of Hormuz is still in Iranian control, and members of the old regime are still executing protesters who protested against the regime in January. So how has America won this war?
Sure. Good evening. Nice to be with you. So what I'm looking at is, as far as a significant development, and for your viewers as well, is the emergence of Pakistan as an interlocutor. So typically in these types of negotiations, you would see a Gulf country like Qatar or Oman or regionally, say Turkey, act as an interlocutor between Iran and the United States. What's happened here, though, of course, is Iran has lashed out at each of those countries after the U.S. and Israeli strikes in Iran, which likely precluded their involvement as sort of a objective arbiter. So Pakistan emerging as a diplomatic leader is certainly a new development and an interesting one. We'll see what comes out of the talks on Friday in Islamabad, as you mentioned. So what is the U.S. position here? Well, I think from the U.S. position, they were not looking to change the regime. They were looking to change the regime's behavior and its policies in the region. And the truth be told, that that remains to be seen on whether or not that happens. Obviously, the U.S. and Israel struck important tactical and strategic objectives by eliminating 2 separate rounds of Iranian leadership, by decimating the Iranian Navy and Air Force. A foreign power has control over Iran's airspace. This should be no victory party in Tehran, but as you mentioned, they are certainly able to leverage the couple of items where they do have influence and control, namely the Strait of Hormuz and the oil markets globally.
So, Andy, it's interesting that you spoke of Pakistan as a diplomatic leader. Many experts believe that, perhaps Donald Trump was looking for a shoulder to sort of have this ceasefire through. That, look, we've suffered militarily. We're also suffering through the Strait of Hormuz. So we need a country to actually, put the onus on, or at least, say that, look, they are the ones who were mediating. So we thought that we should just withdraw and look at the ceasefire agreement and the proposal. But Donald Trump also spoke about China's role in getting Iran to agree to this deal. How are you looking at that? Because China, of course, has been one of the most crucial factors in this war.
No question. Their relationship with Iran, which is primarily an economic one, is an important factor here. I think it's very much in their interest to no longer see what we in the U.S. would say, $4 gasoline or the price of oil well over $100 a barrel for a sustained period. To me, that is China's primary objective. Of course, it is one of the countries where they do have a close diplomatic relationship, so they always would want to maintain that. They would not want to see a regime change there, and an autocracy that falls anywhere makes the leaders in Beijing nervous nonetheless.
So let me also quickly ask you, Andy, about the biggest choke point in this war, which has been the Strait of Hormuz. And there is a lot of speculation as to perhaps that U.S. and Iran will reach a deal where they will control the strait together as a joint venture. Do you see that happening? Do you see that turning into a reality? Or this is just speculation amid this kind of an agreement?
It's difficult for me to imagine a scenario where the United States and Iran are cooperating militarily in such a contested area. Could I see both Iran and the United States as part of an international coalition to ensure safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz? Absolutely, I do think that's possible.
All right, that's going to be interesting for the world to see how that moves forward if that happens. For the moment, of course, Iran not being very pleased with the multiple strikes that have taken place in the West Asian region, particularly, of course, Lebanon, and now saying that we will not join the talks until and unless those strikes stop from the Israeli side. Andy Kaser, I'll leave it there. Thank you very much for joining us on WION and sharing your perspective.
Thank you. Enjoyed it.